Alright, 2-7, modeling story or situation, word problem, whatever you want to call it, with this. If you can model, if we can come up, this is the best part is we come up with the model ourselves, then we get to use that model for whatever we want to know, about the situation. So we're not given the equation, we have to come up with it. So what I would do is, what you're going to do on all these, they're all going to follow this pattern. So this kangaroo's jumping. There's a few things that from what you read, you'll be able to get out of it, and that is the highest. You're going to need the highest point and this distance. So maybe underline this horizontal distance of 28 feet, and the highest jumping is 6 feet. So what I can do is I can draw a picture for myself of this on an XY axis, which is kind of above there. But I'll just show you the most important parts. That's X, that's Y. So to model this, the key points are, what are the coordinates at that point right there? 0, 0. That's called the origin, yeah. So that's where kangaroo is starting to jump. The distance of 28 feet is this horizontal distance. So what would the coordinates right here be where the kangaroo lands? If I go ahead and draw the path, it's symmetric. There's the highest point. You'll notice in all these problems there's a highest point, and then there's back down to the ground. So what are the coordinates here? Yeah, good. 28, 0. Yeah, great. 28, 0. That's that horizontal distance. And then the most important on any parabola, the vertex, is the maximum or minimum. What is it in this case? 0, 6. So 14, 6 is what we want, right? Because there's perfect symmetry. Remember we talked about the vertex is always in the middle of the x-intercepts? If you know where it crosses the x-axis, this will be right in the middle. So you just have to figure, that's halfway. This half of 28 is 14, and it tells us the highest point is 6. Okay, this is all the information we need to find the equation. In fact, we don't even need this point. We're going to use the vertex and then this point, and we're going to find the equation. So first what we do is we write the equation and plug in the vertex that we know. So it's y equals a. This is what we know so far. Y equals a. X minus what? What's h? So h is 14, and so it's x minus 14 squared, and then what's k? Plus 6. So I want to stop there just for a second. With vertex form, let's write this up here. The vertex is hk. So I'm taking, you really got to memorize a x minus h squared plus k. And so h and k, the vertex goes, these two numbers are solved for. We're almost there. What else do we need to be done with this? Well, we'll never find x. We leave x and y alone because x and y represent a point, any point on the coordinate plane. So x and y stay, but what's missing? There we go. All we need is a, right? A tells us if it opens up or down, if it's wide or skinny, right? All we need is a. So what could we plug in for x and y so that we can solve for a? What's the easiest thing? Just 0 for which one? What about for y? Okay, you're on the right track. We just need to plug in a point. And the easiest point is 0, 0. So we replace both x and y with 0, 0. Okay. All these points, let me just show you this. Every point on the graph is an ordered pair that has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. Each one of these has an x coordinate. You don't have to label that if you don't want. But I could pick, why don't I pick 14, 6 to plug in? If I plug in 14, 6, I won't, yeah, you're just going to get, yeah, we already used 14 and 6 here and here, so you get something like 0 equals 0 or something. Yeah, so you can't use the vertex again. You could use 28, 0 to plug in, but that's why do something difficult when you can do something easier. So let's do 0, 0. So if 0, 0 is an option, plug it in. So here we go. 0 equals A 0 minus 14 quantity squared plus 6. All the hard work's done, but you have to carefully use order of operations here to solve this. So be careful in solving for A. So let's do that together. 0 minus 14, you do what's inside the parentheses. What is 0 minus 14? Negative 14, and then you square negative 14, which you might do on your calculator. Good, so it's times 196 plus 6. We still need to get A alone. A is just like a variable like X. So we want to undo this, so we want to get rid of the plus 6 by subtracting 6. So minus 6 equals, and let's, instead of A 196, that's weird, right? A 196 is like a highway or a jet plane, and A 196, we want to do 196A. We usually want the number first and then the variable. So it's almost done. Last step is to divide by 196. So A is a fraction which is negative 6 over 196. And let's just simplify. What divides in evenly into both of these? 3. So A equals, well, actually, or is it, I think it's just 2. So we'll half each of these. Half of negative 6, negative 3, half of that is 98. So our final answer then for our model is this. Here's our final equation. Y equals, you tell me, y equals what? Negative 3 over 98, I know it seems weird, times x minus 14 quantity squared plus 6. Perfect. Yeah. So that's our model. Now we can use it to make predictions, which is what all the next question asks, but that's certainly the hardest part. Notice A is negative. That makes sense, right? Because it opens down. So A is negative. That's a good thing. And now we have one last thing, which is easier to do than anything else, is predict how high off the ground the kangaroo will be at a horizontal distance of 15. So what do we plug in? Where do we plug in 15? For x. Yeah. X is the horizontal distance. So this means x is 15, find y. Y, remember, y is the height, x is the horizontal distance. So you just let x be 15, so we're just going to plug that in. So you get y equals negative 3 over 98 times 50, oh that's nice, 15 minus 14, lovely, squared, what's all that? 1 plus 6. So if you could type this whole thing in on your calculator carefully, and I'm happy to help you use your calculator well. You'd usually be able to have that on tests. So you could do that, or you can just do negative 3 over 98. This is 1 times 1 plus 6. I'm still going to want to use my calculator because I want a decimal answer. None of this makes sense to me. So you're going to type that in. What did you get when you carefully typed it in? .97 what? Inches? Centimeters? Feet. And let's make sure our answer makes sense. So in this picture, when the horizontal distance was 14, the highest was 6 feet, right? At 14, a horizontal distance 14, the highest was 6. So then the kangaroo is starting to go up or down after that? Down. It's starting to go down. So does a little less than 6 make sense? Okay, great.